Hey, what's going on, pilots? TrackIR here. Today we're in the AV-8B Harrier by Razbam, and we're going to be taking a look at GBU-12s with laser-guided bombs. We're going to be using the targeting pod today. We're going to be taking out a couple different targets, and we're also going to be taking out a moving target as well. So let's get started. So before we get started, let's talk about how do we change the GBU-12 or the APKWS laser code. That is done with the kneeboard, so right shift K or right shift kilo to bring it up. And it does say here in the top right, it says if you're cold, the engine must be off to change, or if you're hot, the engine must be on and the park and brake set. So we are on with the park and brake set, and you can see here I'm just using the key command left shift left alt 1, 2, and 3 to change the APKWS, or left shift left alt 4, 5, and 6 to change the GBU-12. So how do we input the laser code that we put into the kneeboard? So that's the first thing you need to do before you do this. We can hit sensor select aft, and you can see right here, we go into laser spot mode. We can click on code and put in the code right here. So we're using 1688 right now, hit enter. Or if we go to air to ground mode, I'll zoom in here for you. So if we go to air to ground mode, we can actually click code here on the top left, and then we can type it up here on the UFC. Okay, so we're here in the Harrier on the Syria map, and we're going to waypoint 1, which has some targets for us. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's go to master arm armed, air to ground mode, and we'll click 12 for the GBU-12, and fusing, we'll do tail in to make sure that's good, and we'll designate the target. So everything's designated, master arms arm, air to ground, tail fuse is set. Bring up the T-pod on the right, and we did that with sensor select down twice in a row. And let's go ahead and unsafe the laser and put it in to the laser. Let's toggle the FOV and zoom in with sensor select left short, and we'll use sensor select right long to put it into FLIR mode. Let's go ahead and search for some targets here. So here's some targets right here. And we also found some other targets right here. So just scanning around the area, looking for some targets, just make sure there's no shore adds in the area. And we found these guys right here. We're just going to focus on these two vehicles here. All right, let's put it into point track mode. So you can click the OSB here, or you can use sensor select aft short. Next, I'm going to hit TDC depress, go to T-pod designate, and we'll go ahead and hit TOO and hit enter to make this a TOO waypoint. Just in case we lose sight of this with the T-pod, we can just go back and redesignate this. So turning towards the ASL right now so we can drop this bomb on it. Again, we always want to make sure we have everything set up here. We're currently about 30 seconds out from bomb drop. We can see that on the bottom right of the HUD. Right now, just turn on the AFC and the altitude hold modes. That way, when the bomb drops, we don't have that massive wing rock, so it automatically trims it out for us. So again, looking at the target right now, that's what we're going after. We're in point track mode. The laser is armed and unsafed. Everything is set up here with the tail in fusing. And here comes the bomb drop on the ASL. Holding the weapon release button, one away. So we have one away right now. The T-pod is directly under the Harrier, which is nice, so it has a better field of view. So right now we're just going to turn left a little bit, fire the laser with the associated OSB command on the top, or with the HOTAS command, which is what I recommend. Alright, so that was a good shack on target. We will turn off the laser and set up for a re-attack on the other ground vehicle. The caution you hear right now is just from the AFC turning off. Just a quick flip of the switch on the AFC to turn that off, so she stops yelling at you. Right now we're just flying outbound of the target, so we can set up for a re-attack for another GBU-12 bomb drop on the other ground target. Let's go ahead and look through the T-pod again. Let's zoom in with sensor select left short. We will refine the target. Zoom in. There we go. Just using the OSB commands to zoom in. Still in point track mode. Looking to the left. And I always like to use the EHSD page right here because it shows you the diamond where the T-pod designate is, so you can always tell like where you're at in relation to the target. Still coming around to the left here, so we can set up for another bomb drop. Looking at the EHSD, and I can tell the diamond is coming up, so I'm going to start leveling out here in just a second. And here we go, level on out, so we can get right on that ASL, so we can do a nice bomb delivery. Again, master arm is armed, tail end fusing. Point track mode. ASL came down, held the weapon release button, one away. Go ahead and turn on the AFC here so we can fly outbound. Hit the fire button on the laser. So we are firing the laser. And the GBU-12 will be capturing here any moment. There we go. It's going right on target, baby. Kablamo. Alright, good shack, good shack. Alright, turning off the laser. And let's set up for a moving target attack. Alright, so in this example, we're flying along and we see 3 tanks moving along the road. How do we get the targeting pod onto this point? Well, we can actually make a mark point if we want for a flyover point. If nothing's designated, we can use a TOO waypoint, or we can put the targeting pod into slave to velocity vector, which is what we're going to demonstrate here. So what we're going to do is hit the target on designate button to put it into slave to velocity vector. If we hit target on designate again, it goes to snowplow mode, and if we hit it again, it goes back to slave to velocity vector. So you can use either or, but in this example, we're going to use slave to velocity vector. What we're going to basically do is put the velocity vector on the targets that are moving and hit the TDC depress button to designate that. And you'll see the example here in just a second. Here we are turning back around for the targets. Should be on this road right over here on my lift vector, and you should see the heat sources here in just a second on the HUD, and there they are, those little chevrons. Velocity vector right on the targets, hit the TDC depress, and there we go. Now we can refine the targeting pod. We'll turn away from the targets because you don't want to be shot at by them, obviously. Looking at the targets here, they're just beyond these little trees. Getting a little altitude here so I can see them a little bit better. Zooming in, and there they are, moving along the road. Let's put this into moving target mode with sensor select aft short. It cycles between point track, area track, and moving target. So it says MT for moving target. Just losing line of sight here. We'll turn back around. Always be mindful of where you're turning around. Make sure you're not flying over enemy units. It's always good to keep your eyes outside the aircraft as well as inside the aircraft. Alright, we've got a good line of sight here. Turning in. T-pod is captured on the moving target tank. Turning in. And before we drop this bomb, since we're low level, I'm going to go ahead and fire the laser right now. So the laser's firing. On the ASL. One away. Getting locked by some AAA. Moving away from the target, make sure you keep line of sight. The laser's firing. There's a good shack right there on a moving target. Unsafe the laser and get out of there. These were just some examples on how to use the laser-guided bombs for the Harrier. Again, thank you all for watching the support. Make sure you check out my other videos on the Harrier. Got plenty of them. Fly safe out there, and we'll see you on the next video.